Alrighty, welcome back to another episode of The Funny Please.
Oh my God.
Where you have the right to remain laughing. I'm your host, Ashley Ryan, and we are joined by our co-host, Ethan Filler.
Hello, I'm Ethan Filler. I'm here, I'm queer, and I'm not going to put the work in.
And he's going to fill you up today.
Yeah.
And we also have a surprise. Our surprise guest this week is none other than Mr. Ross Belsky.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the front man of band Blink Floyd.
That's right.
And I would say sex symbol, Ross
true.
Belsky.
It's
here.
true. I'm kind of like Pete Davidson a little bit.
Well, we invited Ross to our
One day
podcast
away from fame.
because we think he's a hilarious comedian, and his type of comedy he does
don't know
is kind of like the Jewish guy. Is that Adam Sandler, the Jewish guy on SNL?
That's all you
First
need
of
to
all-
know about Adam Sandler.
No, he
the
sings.
Jewish-
He's
that's who
famous
you're
for
thinking
singing
of.
that song. Yeah.
I got to stop you right here.
He's not famous
first
for
of
that.
First of all, who you're thinking of is almost definitely Adam Sandler. I will say, one, that Jewish guy on SNL is like 75 different people.
Adam Sandler, Andy Samberg.
Two, saying he's famous for that song,
no,
does
but
not
he's
narrow
the
it down
OG.
either.
He's the OG.
I mean, yeah,
He's
a
not the
legend.
first Jewish guy on SNL.
Anyway, Ross's comedy
first
is
funny
all like
one.
guitar, like song based, and he does like weird, funny voices. Wait, can you do one of them for us?
I've been working on my Frank Ocean. Batman.
Okay, do like an air guitar.
I see that we've got into the dance monkey dance portion of the podcast.
I know, right? You got some plates you want me to spin?
All right. So what topic are we talking about today? Oh, we're talking
topic.
about our favorite topic. I am dressed for this topic because we are talking about OJ. Yay!
Yeah.
OJ.
And
Are
so
you dressed like Nicole Brown Simpson?
no, I'm dressed like OJ, like the orange shoes. Duh.
It's kind of a weird topic because why would we spend any time talking about an innocent man who did nothing wrong?
Yeah.
No.
It's kind of messed up. Let the man rest in peace.
The man
But
rest
yeah.
in peace.
Do we think it's sad that OJ died, or do we send our condolences? Because
I just
I'd like to send my condolences to
can
Jessica
everyone-
Simpson and her family.
Can everyone
They
listen?
must be going through a lot
Can
right
everyone
now.
listen?
What do we think about OJ's death? Were we surprised? Like, because they literally went into like a full day after he died, they were only talking about him, especially on like CNN and MSNBC, because those channels, I don't know if you know, but the OJ Simpson chase and the OJ Simpson trials is what started cable news. Like people did not start watching trials or care about stuff that much until he did what he did or didn't do.
Yeah.
But, you know, everyone loves it. And now we have the Ford Broncos
He's
back.
dead. We can say he did it now. He's not going to get us now.
I used to go through phases where either him or Hitler were under my bed.
Yeah. Ashley, has this death and this whole story impacted you as a white woman who gets a little too mouthy?
No,
So remember that community? Did Nicole Brown Simpson's death affect you?
I feel like it hasn't affected me because I was too young to. I was like before all this happened, as y'all were as well.
I wasn't
like,
alive.
I knew who he was. I think I must have been like maybe 2. So I wasn't aware of it until honestly I went to film school. Or no, the first time I was aware of OJ Simpson was because of the Kardashians, and they did like an E Hollywood special.
Their father was their lawyer.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But the E Hollywood special
Chloe, his
was about
daughter.
that.
Do you know that conspiracy theory, by the way?
That
No,
Chloe's
there's a
OJ's?
conspiracy
There's a
theory.
conspiracy theory.
Okay,
that,
well, let's spread it on the internet.
let's spread it. Spread it more. There's a conspiracy theory that Khloe Kardashian is OJ's daughter, and Kris Jenner had sex with OJ.
Oh,
Which is so
my
stupid because
God.
listen, Khloe Kardashian is not black.
Well, she's got
Sorry to
some
drop
black
that
in
truth
her.
bomb.
She always got some black in her.
Well,
wait, did you say Chloe or Courtney?
Khloe,
Oh, Chloe.
because she doesn't.
She does
people-
not look
people
black
are
at
like-
all.
I can't
People-
keep up with the
People keep
Kardashians.
saying they're like, you know, she doesn't look like the other ones, and it's just like she's
No.
just fat. She's fatter.
None of them could be OJ's daughter.
No.
Perhaps Kim though, because I feel like she's a little bit darker complexion, or maybe she's
She's
spray
painting
tans.
that on.
Okay, you're right.
But-
she's not actually that dark.
But I will say,
she's like me.
there's something funny to think about with OJ specifically, where one of the big reasons the OJ case got so big was he was a very well-established celebrity. He was a very famous athlete who got a lot of sponsorships, was in movies, was very famous. That's why the case was so big.
Mm-hmm.
I only think of OJ as that guy who murdered his wife.
Well, yeah.
I do not think of him as an athlete at all.
But you're asking like, was it sad? The only reason I'm like thinking about it was because I read so much about it. Like, I don't know, maybe when I was like 15, I'm like, why? What the hell? Like all these references and the glove doesn't fit, must have quit, and all that crap.
Juice is loose.
Yeah, whatever. And I was like, damn, this is so interesting. It's written by this guy, Bill James, who also like came up with Moneyball, which is like a concept in baseball, and Jonah Hill and Brad Pitt made a movie about it. But anyway, he wrote a book called Popular Crime, and there's like a scale of like 20 factors that makes like a case infamous and like everybody talking about it. And OJ's case checked off like 18 of the 20. Like you were saying, he was like famous, the racial thing, of course, the mystery part, and like conspiracy theory thing, the violence, sex, like just all these confluence of things. And it was like so weird that it's like real. And they say it's not only the start of news covering
24-hour news coverage.
Yeah, but also like reality TV, because like Kato Kaelin and all those characters and Judge Ito, they all became like characters.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of feel like we missed out though, because I would have liked to have seen a reality show with like OJ, Bill Cosby, just any other bad person living in a house, and maybe we have to like watch them go to the DMV or do like normal, horrible, everyday activities, and it's not like a hate watch show. I don't know. I think we missed out.
I don't want to watch Bill Cosby going to the dry cleaners.
Okay, but growing up, like you know my background, I grew up in the church. One of my religion teachers was a huge Bill Cosby fan. And we would have to listen to he did like an entire hour of like God and the Bible sometimes. And so we would watch these like presentations by like Bill Cosby, his comedy specials about God. And then all this came out, and it's just like, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
We could have been Catholic at that point. We're Lutheran.
Hello.
But
I mean, it's like obvious that the gayest people in the world are the God hates fags people.
But
yeah.
So what side are y'all on? Like
of OJ?
Do you think he actually killed her, or
flat out? Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, he absolutely did it. It is so clear and obvious.
Well, the country seemed to be divided over it, but upon his death, the news anchors seem to be saying that a lot of the black people, like, they actually did think he did it, but they just were so against the police that they were like on his side.
Here's the thing. When a very rich white man murders his wife, he can probably get away with it scot-free. A lot of very rich white people do very bad things and don't ever have to pay for it. That doesn't always happen with black people or people of color. So like, they're like, honestly, it's a win for us. And I get that thinking.
The same thing it is, but also like I was thinking like, yeah, like Johnny Cochran, he's supposed to be like, he's the guy that represented OJ, and he's supposed to be like this like civil rights leader. It's like, okay, you could help a black guy as long as he's rich and famous and can afford you, you know? And it's crazy. I just saw this video where, you know how like the glove don't fit, you must have quit, and people actually like, you know, I guess they actually went with that.
I want to see the video of that in court, because like, did he have his like hand to like flex like super like, because he could only put a glove on like a certain way. But like, honestly, you know those little hand workout things that you squeeze? Like, what if he was just working out his hand like crazy,
he didn't
like
take his
for
medication.
hours a day?
So his hands would swell.
You can take like creatine or stuff to make your body swollen or have more water weight than it normally should.
But I just saw
like
on
there's
YouTube
so many
today,
things you could do to make that glove not fit.
I saw on YouTube today a video of him wearing those gloves like a year before, doing a football game, doing a football broadcast. So it's like the gloves fit. He's wearing it for a whole football game.
The fact that the smoking gun in that case was him putting on leather gloves and going,
yeah. It's
so
almost
stupid.
like the 90s Israel-Palestine almost. Like it depends. Like you have to pick the side of your race or whatever.
Well, yeah, like
Israel and Palestine was happening in the 90s too.
What are you talking about? I just heard about this October 7th.
October 7th.
I didn't even know what a Zionist was till like October 8th. Isn't that great? I'm Jewish.
I thought that was a
still
monster in
don't
Power
know.
Rangers.
I know, seriously. And then I'm going to get killed for people thinking that I won.
Yeah.
I'm going to say right now, we're not talking about Israel and Palestine
Good.
anymore.
I already trolled.
let's not bring
somebody.
that into
Let's
it.
not
But
bring that into it.
okay, so Ross, do you think OJ actually killed was it his girlfriend or his wife? His wife.
I believe maybe ex-wife.
And it was
at
also
the
her
time.
friend too, or her bodyguard.
Her lover. I believe it was her lover. No?
Her lover.
I think she
were they
killed him.
divorced
I
or
believe they were separated.
okay?
Yeah,
Do
they
you,
were
do you think he actually killed her cold blood with a knife or whatever?
I think that she killed Ron Goldman and killed herself as an act of love to OJ.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Of course he did not do it.
I think he
I'm
did
kidding,
it,
of
but
course he did.
I have to say that I'm like kind of jealous of her because like I want a man to love me that much one day that he's just filled
no.
with so many emotions that losing me his whole entire life. Okay, well, you have to love me for.
I love you.
You don't feel.
Why do you think he came here?
I love you.
Why do you think he came?
Fuck do you think I'm
Can we not get out? I need to
Midtown.
move the Knives next
I love you so
podcast
much,
because these keep coming out every.
Kiss me. Or
Do it.
talk about punk now.
He'll do it. I
Okay,
swear.
I have $1 million insurance policy, so as long as your life doesn't
feel like
cost
he's
more
gonna
than $1
drop it in
million,
my eye.
like one of you can die, but not both of you. That's
Fine.
all. That's all that matters.
I'll die.
Yeah, I've never experienced love that great before or that horrible. I've never even been through a bad breakup like that before.
Was it love?
It's not that good.
Is
Well,
love why he did it?
It's like the anti-love, but like it's something like it's passionate, and I want to experience that passion. Like
Did you see
2020.
that comedy DVD he did? OJ Simpson. He did like a prank show comedy.
Juiced.
DVD.
You've been juiced.
Yeah.
A prank show.
Yes.
Seriously. Like punked. Yeah.
No, he did.
Who's under your bed? Oh, it's OJ
you actually
Simpson.
seen
I haven't watched it, but I've seen like a clip of it.
I've seen clips of this. It was after the murder.
What
to be clear.
prank did he do?
Killed your wife. Just kidding.
It was like it was like punk. It was like it was somewhere between like punked and like Eric Andre, where he'd do like disguise and stuff. But it's fucking OJ Simpson.
You could tell. He's wearing one black glove.
OJ Simpson wearing like white people makeup. And it's like
Wait, he wore white people.
I think so. I
Dressed
like-
like his dead wife.
Have you seen that clip floating around of OJ where some like news anchor is interviewing him and she's like, and then OJ had a bit of a surprise for me. And then OJ gets up, goes into another room, then pulls out a fake toy knife and goes,
Wait, he did that in an interview?
Yeah.
Wait, so I have a question. So
Crazy.
was OJ canceled after all this happened,
Hell
or
no.
did he still have some sort of a career?
Ford
he
Broncos
was,
got an
well,
upsell.
first of all, he did end up going to jail.
Well,
because,
no,
you
they
know-
discontinued the Ford Bronco for a while, and then they just brought it back like
Well,
3 years
I
ago.
thought that at first
you
the
do know,
sales
he did
boosted.
go to jail.
Yeah,
he
but
went to jail.
He
Well,
went
he went to jail
but-
for something else.
For some, no.
Because he
yes.
stole his football
What an
memorabilia
idiot.
from like someone who purchased
but he
it.
also was found liable for the death of Nicole Brown Simpson. He was found responsible, but not in a criminal court.
Civil.
He
it
was
was in
found
civil.
civil.
And he never
Yeah.
paid a dime.
Yep.
Oh, he didn't
And
pay
his
a dime.
the executor now that they have the family hired,
Mm-hmm.
he says like, I'm gonna make sure that the Goldmans don't get 1 cent.
Yeah.
Fucking
I don't know how
asshole.
that would work.
But-
I feel like they'd get it now.
have to get it.
So
They
he
have
was,
to get it.
for the record, I dislike using the word canceled when it comes to stuff like this because if you murder your wife, people should stop supporting you. That's not cancel culture. That's fucking
Yeah, that's
insane.
an issue with God or whatever. That's
It's
not,
literally,
Yeah.
like, yeah, absolutely. Like before he murdered his wife, he was a very well-respected athlete. He had cameos in movies and stuff. He was, I'm not going to say America's sweetheart, but you know, he was very well-respected. And after this, he was not. I do also want to say, whenever someone famous gets quote unquote canceled or their career is ruined, they usually have multi-millions to fall back on. So he was fine. I believe he had money up until his death. And also controversy itself can produce money. Like, you know about his book, right? If I Did It.
Oh, I heard about that. I'm kind of curious about it now.
So the
if
funniest
I
thing
did
about
it.
that is,
Go ahead.
so I watched an interview that they didn't release until like 2017 on wherever, and they're interviewing him about the book. If I Did It, and he goes into detail. He's like, now hypothetically, would be put on my skull cap, right? But then he's like, and then some guys in the alleyway gets into a karate stance. Like that was never brought up in the whole trial, right? But then it turns out Ron Goldman like did karate. So how would he hypothetically come up with some guy doing a karate stance when that shit was not mentioned
Literally.
ever? The guy did karate, nobody talked about it, but he
Like-
knows hypothetically this guy got into a karate stance. and then-
How much money did that book make for him, by the way?
Nothing, nothing.
Probably, I'm sure it made some
If he
money. For
did
the record,
commit a
I
crime,
believe
it's way
most of the
you
money
can't sell a
went to
book
the
of it.
Goldmans.
most of the money went to the Goldmans.
Yeah.
Wait, do you know the story of the cover of the book?
Yeah, that it says if I did it, but
So
then they made
the title is If I Did It, and then the if is really, really tiny inside the I, so it just looks like I Did It by OJ Simpson. Because the Goldmans had control of the book cover.
They also put a
my
picture
goodness.
of his
Like,
flaccid penis in the back. That's not impressive.
but sometimes someone who's not a comedian will accidentally do something like really, really high comedy. And if you are accused of murdering your wife, the funniest possible thing to do is to release a book called Now, if I did it, this is how I would do it.
Yeah.
But I didn't do it. But if I did, this is how I'd do it.
If I was funny, this is what I would say.
Yeah. I don't even think he necessarily meant for it to be funny, but it's
Yeah,
very
definitely
funny.
not. He laughs too much, like as like he's trying to be like all charming, like you think I'm a murderer.
He that always gave me chills.
Yeah, and like I'm saying, I used to look in his eyes and be like, "Can you tell?"
When
if you're
were you
evil?"
looking at him? I never like looked
On Google.
looked
In
at him.
interviews and stuff.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Or
Okay.
a Google image, and I'll just zoom into the eyes. And be like, "Can you tell
Yeah,
this
like,
guy's a
I never
crazy
like went on Google and just typed in like OJ.
I can't match
like-
anything else.
Like when like a murderer or like a serial killer or something is like caught and they're like they look like dejected and sad, or maybe they look regretful. OJ was always smiling.
All bug-eyed. Yeah.
Always bug-eyed and smiling. Freaked me out. Anyways,
Interesting.
Jay is innocent.
We've reached that point in the
nothing wrong.
episode where we decide whether or not we think OJ Simpson is funny. Is his life story? Do we support it? Do we think it's funny? Is it a joke? Ethan, tell us what do you think about this? Do you think OJ Simpson's funny?
OJ Simpson is incredibly funny. To be clear, he as a person, not funny. The situation and him
His existence,
accidentally,
yeah.
so funny. He's the reason why Norm Macdonald rose to popularity and then got fired from SNL.
Yeah.
So, do you know who Norm Macdonald is?
No.
Very funny,
you
very
should
funny
cut
comedian.
that.
You should watch his stuff. But he did, on SNL Weekend Update where they do the fake news desk.
Yeah.
He was.
Is that
At a
when they
time-
started it or
No.
No, it was from the beginning, but for a while he was the main anchor. And he kept doing jokes about OJ and the murder case. And fun fact, OJ was very close friends with the head of NBC. And so the head of NBC told him, "Hey, you do any more fucking OJ jokes and you're fired."
Oh my
And
God.
Don
do you know
Ohlmeyer.
what happened when he told him to stop doing OJ jokes?
He did
He
more.
sure went more. He sure did more.
That's Norm.
And then
I
he
mean,
got
that's what I
fired.
would do. Like, if you tell me not to
Of
do something, I
course.
do. I can only think of that.
Of
like,
course.
The straightest joke, like the shortest joke ever did was just like, "This just in, murder is now legal in California."
Yeah. So funny. So funny. I'm going to say OJ Simpson, absolutely funny. He was a subject on late night for years. I would
God.
say
Still.
every late night TV show is dominated by Monica Lewinsky and OJ jokes for years.
Ross, what do you think? Do you think OJ's funny or not funny?
I think, like Ethan said, he's not funny, but like, you know how certain comedians, they're funny not on purpose. If I met an alien, they were like, "Tell me the life story of one human," I'd be like, "This fucking guy."
You heard of this guy OJ?
Yeah.
Have you heard of this guy
Now that's funny. Like,
Orange Julius Simpson? That's
this
not his
human
name.
was famous for two things, then killed his wife, then didn't go to jail, then went to jail for something else, and then he's a prick. It's funny.
Also, do you remember what his real name is?
Orenthal James.
Orenthal James.
That's why they
Okay.
said, "We find the defendant Orenthal. I'm like, "Come on, just tell me the goddamn name."
Come on, get out with it.
Where does that name even come from? Orenthal? I've never heard
I
that
think
before.
it's like
origin
an
of Orenthal.
old-fashioned, like English name.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
he's an English chap. He used to
Age.
run around chapless in the locker room though.
Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I think OJ, I'm going to say is funny because I actually do have a line where I use him in my stand-up comedy, and it still is part of like my background story in stand-up. So I say, growing up in Texas is kind of like OJ Simpson's gloves. It was not a good fit, and you did not want to be there when it happened.
Aye.
And that's how I describe growing up in Texas is like. So it's still a good reference for me. Everyone understands it. It's a joke.
Are you worried
And
that?
I think it
as
was
time
worth
goes
it.
on-
Nicole she would have been proud of her
Yeah.
funny legacy. Was
She
that
was
her name?
hot.
Yeah,
She was hot.
Nicole
She
Brown
hot?
Simpson.
Yeah.
Are you
'Cause-
My
worried
type, I
that
think.
as time goes on, you won't be able to use that joke anymore? Like people will forget.
It's already been like 40
Yeah,
years.
everyone's gonna be like, "Who's OJ?" Because it's gonna
I
be
mean-
like all like the younger generation,
Yeah.
and
We're just talking about it
now.
because he died, but it just once you get into that OJ rabbit hole,
yeah,
you just
they'll be
There's
like, "Why do you
some
like
people-
orange juice so much?"
Oh
There's
my
nothing
God.
I
I
love
like
more
the
than-
one that says some pulp.
There's
Sopranos.
nothing more I love than like digging up like cold tea, like the OJ case, or like going like Casey Anthony, or like
and then loosely discussing all the facts of it,
Literally.
in a podcast and airing it online.
Exactly. But like,
So, Ethan, where can we find you?
oh my God, this is such a surprise. You can find me on Instagram at efiller13 or efiller13. I also run an open mic every Wednesday at 9:30 at Soho Playhouse. It's called Cuckoo's Open Mic, music,
that.
comedy, etc., etc.
Best.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah, that's every Wednesday at 9:30, Soho Playhouse. Please come by.
And
I'm
Ross,
here.
what about you? Where can we find you, Ross?
I go to manic depressive support groups throughout the city, but also Era 404 Boy. Also, May 11th and 25th at midnight, Saturday shows. We're going to be doing reprises or sequels of My Place, Sopranos and Snakes on a Plane on Ice, and also Hot Topic, Time Machine, and also Curb Your Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Those are all coming up in May. And at the
Keep
Pit.
your eyes peeled.
I don't think I'm banned from there yet, so I think if I can get through this month, you guys can come.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And you can find me at Ashley Ryan TV on pretty much every social media site. I also have a 15-minute stand-up show coming up in May. I'm not sure the exact date, but keep a lookout for that. And that will be in Brooklyn.
Absolutely.
Anyway, thank you all for watching. And until next time, love you.
I love you.
Goodbye.